So you want to create a life on your terms, right? Everybody does. Now, creating a life on our terms really kind of comes down to the foundations of manifestation, right? But it also goes deeper than just manifesting, because creating a life on our terms means that we are attracting, yeah? We are attracting. So that comes into the laws of attraction. Now, I know you're probably thinking, oh, here we go. This is another discussion around like the secret and those laws of attraction. But those laws of attraction were only just the surface level. There is a whole deeper concept around creating magnetism and attracting the life that you desire. Now, I'm going to share one little secret today. And that secret is if you desire a certain type of life, you need to create space in your life for those things. Now, when we say about creating what we desire, what do we want in our lives? Now, the number one thing when I was creating my business or starting to create my business was actually time freedom. I wanted time to be available for my children, for the magic moments, to be able to have holidays, to be able to actually have time for my hobbies. So my priority was creating space in my life that I actually had time freedom. You know, so often people would say, oh, so you work full time in your business? And I'd giggle, like I literally would laugh at them and was like, no, that's the old constructs. Those are the 3D constructs where we actually are trading our time and our energy to make money. That doesn't have to be the way. See, so when I started to drop into this space, I actually like say, for instance, as well as creating time and priorities for the things that I desired the most. They were number one. I told the universe, this is number one important things to me, and I need to have those things. And everything else would then start to fall in order. What order do I prioritize? What order? So start to sit down and make a value list. What do I value? What do I want? What are those things that are super important to me? Am I creating space, and am I living a life or setting up my life aligned to those values? Okay, because for instance, when I dropped into money mastery, and I did this quite early in after my divorce, because I was a single mom with two little kids, right? I didn't want to be back at full-time work, and I needed to reduce the stress level around how was I going to provide? How was I going to be able to be available for my children and still give them holidays and still give them all the things they need, right? Without us struggling. So money mastery, basically I sat down there and wrote out what is the priorities in my life. What were they? Number one thing the universe wants to see is, are you prioritizing yourself? Are you putting yourself and your well-being and your happiness number one? So in the beginning, even knowing my finances, you know, I didn't have a lot of extra money coming in. I made every single week a priority that I was paying myself. Even if it was a small amount of money, that I set an amount that every week it was just $30 a week. So if I wanted to go to the movies, if I wanted to have a drink with a friend, if I wanted to go for dinner, I had $30 every week, no matter what. It was priority number one, me. Yeah? The next thing I actually did was donate. And even knowing I didn't have much money to give, I literally was like budgeting to the dollar. I donated money, because to give, you will receive. If I was giving without any expectation of getting anything in return by giving that small amount of money to, I did it to the animal welfare, that I was opening up these laws of attraction for the universe to give back to me from unexpected sources with no expectation of me having to trade something for that, right? So it opened me up to actually receiving money from anonymous places, which would come in at the most beautiful, most random time, that I started feeling provided for by the universe, because I was also giving into the universe's flow. All right, so that became the second thing I did. The third thing I actually did was created savings, that I had to every single week put money somewhere that I was basically out of sight, out of mind, and that whether I wanted to reinvest into creating other things, I had to make that another priority. Why? Because if I had money there for a rainy day and created enough money that eventually, if I had quiet weeks in my business, or all of a sudden something needed to be fixed on my car, there was always money there, always. And then I went through holidays, family time, all the things. I started to break those things down. Yeah? And then what was my last thing on my list? Bills. Now, I literally at that time, I was definitely in this space of skepticism. And I firstly want to say, I am not a financial advisor, okay? I actually have got budgeting and done studies, and that was a financial controller for several businesses. And yeah, but I am not a financial advisor, so I'm not directing you. I'm just telling you about the universal laws here. The last thing I actually had on my list was the bills. Bills were not to be in the top priorities of my finances, because if I'm telling the universe that that's my priority, my bills are my priority, then basically I was energetically creating more bills. Yeah. So the bottom thing on my list after I budgeted out everything was bills. And every week I was short a couple $100 if I was working it out. But I was trusting, I was guided intuitively. See, I work as a 5D business, so working intuitively, trusting in the masculine to provide for me, trusting in the Mother Earth to provide for me, yeah? Because that's my soul's mother and father. It's here to provide for us if we ask and use those universal laws, right? So I was going to trust. And it was really hard to do this right in the beginning, because I was like, oh my gosh, if I'm going to give money and donate money, and still need this extra amount of money every week for my bills. But I tested it. I thought, okay, I'm going to do this for a few months, 3 months. And I also created a place. So what was happening is I was creating a challenge for myself energetically. So if you create a challenge, because your soul's contract is here to be challenged to grow, that things in life that challenge us are here to help us grow, right? So this meant I was going to grow my business. This meant I was growing my finances, yeah? It allowed that universal law to work with me. So after that 3 months, I looked at my accounts, and don't ask me how, but there was $1,000 in my bills account. That I never have ever had a problem with paying my bills. There's always been money coming in, always having flow. So I broke this formula down into the business structure of everything in my life, creating the life on my terms, yeah? I created it in my 5D business, because I work in 5D, I don't work in 3D. And I know when I got really stuck in my business and things weren't flowing and I wasn't able to grow, was because I was getting stuck in 3D business structures, not using the universal laws, not feeling into my intuition, looking for how and action that wasn't aligned to that internal divine guidance that was supposed to support me. So I wasn't using then those laws of being provided for, trusting that it was going to deliver things from anonymous places, anonymous doors open, anonymous money could come in, meeting people that I wasn't expecting to meet that were going to give me opportunities to be a book writer and to, share in podcast, right? You get what I'm saying? I opened myself up to this beyond my wildest dreams. I knew what I desired. I knew what my values were. I knew what I wanted as my life on my terms. But I was also open to this whole other side that I was not, I was open to and ready for whatever the universe felt that was aligned for me. And I would then intuitively feel into that space. And this is how we create 5D business, yeah? So I have actually created a masterclass, and I'm going to, here's my son's bird. He's come to join us. I've created a masterclass this weekend. I'm going to do it. And it's going to go, I'm hoping for 2 hours. I've got the gift of the gab if you haven't noticed. And I'm going to go into these universal laws. I'm going to go into what it takes to create a 5B soul entrepreneurial business. How do we create money mastery? How do we change the life to be on our terms? Yeah. How do we create something that makes us filled with joy and happiness, so we're resonating in a higher vibration? Because we all deserve that. But those 3D systems of trading time for money and, having to work 9 to 5, and you have to put your bills as the first priority, are going to keep you trapped in a system that's going to keep you limited. Okay, so if you are open to something that is not spoken about so often out there, and ready to change your life, ready to create a business, or you're ready to create a life on your terms, this masterclass might be for you. It is more designed around soul entrepreneurs because I'm working on the energetics. I want to raise the vibration on the earth now that we're in the energy age. And to do that, I need to help soul entrepreneurs to be successful, to understand these laws and to embody this energetics, yeah? And so therefore, then I'm going to be able to help hundreds of thousands of people change their lives and be happy, be healthy, have a great life that's, feels joyful and aligned to them. And healing is the foundation. Changing our vibration is the foundation. Understanding the universal laws and getting rid of the society's imprintings of what we think we are supposed to do. Because I tell you what, it's taken me a long time to break down those imprintings that society had imprinted on me, and created resistance in my business and in my life and in my finances, in everything. And I changed it. And I want to help you guys too. So click the link if you want to join.